So we're going to talk about education abroad here today, and how we can make education abroad accessible and available to engineering students. And as I said, I have been working with the Education Abroad Office and engineering students now for about 8 years. I think it's really important for engineering students to have an abroad experience if they want that. And it is a life-changing experience. It can make such a difference in students' lives. So we're going to get started here. So 1 in 5 students at CSU has an abroad experience, and they go abroad to study, to do research, to do internships, or to do service learning. And there are many different experiences. And at CSU, me or the Education Abroad Office can help advise and support you on any of these opportunities. It's pretty popular. It's higher, actually. 1 in 5 is higher than the national average. So what do you gain from an education abroad experience? There are a variety of academic, career, and personal benefits an education abroad experience can give you. It can prepare you to work in a global world, expand your global mindset, gain adaptability, increase self-confidence and flexibility, and develop new skills to take with you after graduation. It can challenge you to grow in new ways, like communicating in another language, interacting with people from different backgrounds, and dealing with ambiguity. So I think one of the things that engineers get from studying abroad is learning to think globally. I think so many of the companies that students would go on to work for are global companies, and having that adaptability and knowledge of being abroad can be a very, very beneficial thing. Where and when can you go? Well, CSU RAMs study all over the world. CSU offers about 1,000 programs in over 80 countries. And the cool thing is that there are students who have gone to all 7 continents over the years that they've been going abroad. In addition to all the different places, students can go abroad in all terms. So you can go abroad in the spring, summer, or fall semesters. And then there are also opportunities to do winter break or spring break experiences too. Engineering students definitely study abroad. The top destinations here, as you can see, Ecuador, El Salvador, the United Kingdom, and China. I will say for engineering students, we tend to pick places, number 1, places that have strong engineering programs. Number 2, places where the engineering classes are taught in English. That's very important. We don't want to add the complication of trying to learn math in a foreign language or an engineering topic in a foreign language. That would not be fun at all. So that can, to some extent, limit where you're going to go. But we do try and make available as many programs as we can. So in order to offer CSU students as many education abroad opportunities as possible, we have a variety of program models available. CSU exchange programs. So that's where we have an exchange program with a university abroad. Their students come to CSU and our students go to them. Swansea University, as you'll see here, is one of those, an example of one of those. CSU affiliate programs, that's a company that offers an abroad experience for students. They are not necessarily a university, but they have centers where you can study. And we work with a number of those programs that are approved by CSU. and then faculty-led programs. And the program that Dr. Riesfeld is going to talk about is really a faculty-led program. So Swansea University Exchange, this is a great program. I've visited Swansea University, and this is the Bay campus, and it really is like this right on the beach. I've been there, I confirm this picture is definitely not photoshopped. They have a fantastic College of Engineering at Swansea, and the programs that they support there really do mesh well with mechanical engineering, with civil engineering, and with chemical engineering. If you have lived in a landlocked state like Colorado for most of your life, it's a great opportunity also to live by the ocean. The next program is University of South Australia, and this is an exchange program. So that means they send students to CSU and we send students to them. Australia is an English-speaking program, and they also have strong course offerings for STEM majors. Students can live in dorms, student apartments, or homestays. This is an urban campus, so it's in the middle of a city, and students could be taking courses in buildings throughout the cities. Students get a unique opportunity to really feel part of the city as they are taking courses. CEA Engineering in Paris. So CEA Engineering in Paris is an affiliate program. CEA is the affiliate provider. I've also visited this program in Paris. I was very lucky to be able to go a couple of years ago. So I visited the center in Paris where they teach, and I've also visited the different opportunities for where students would live, the different types of accommodation. So CEA Engineering is a great fit for students who are studying mechanical engineering and specifically chemical and biological engineering. They offer courses that match really, really well with what our students need the semester that they would be abroad. Also, it's Paris, right? And who doesn't want to go to Paris? It's a fabulous, fabulous city. This is a great program for chemical and biological engineers. It's a semester program, and it's spring of the second year that this would fit the best into the curriculum. And then the next program is one that can be really interesting for our chemical engineering and biomedical engineering students, although this is open to all students across campus. This is a faculty-led program, and it works with a nonprofit out of Denver, and prosthetic innovation in Ecuador. So what this program does, it's a small group that goes to Ecuador at the end of the spring semester, and you work with a nonprofit there that creates and fits prosthetics for underserved communities. This is a really wonderful program. So when you're choosing your program, you have to keep in mind academics, costs, and goals, thinking of what you want your opportunity to be, if you want it to be a semester program, a faculty-led program, a summer program, how much that program is going to cost and how that fits in with your budget at CSU, and then what your goals are if you do want to be abroad for a short amount of time or a long amount of time, and how well that this program fits in with your academic plan. So price range of programs here, as you see, they're mostly in the $12,000 to $16,000 range. Keep in mind, and we will get to this in another slide, but keep in mind that all of your scholarships, all of your financial aid, everything that you receive towards a regular semester at CSU will go towards a study abroad experience. So that makes these experiences more affordable. There are always scholarships to apply for as well, specific and engineering study abroad scholarships and general study abroad scholarships. So you would work with an education abroad coordinator in the education abroad office at CSU. You would work with your academic advisor. That would be me, or a program advisor, or your group leader for a faculty-led program. And you can earn credits. So one of the big questions we get is about how credits work. This question depends on the type of program that you are on, but we are here to help you work through the process. And we do have specific ways that we can make sure that the credit that you earn while you're abroad will count towards your degree program in engineering. And here's the last slide, the questions slide. If you have questions about study abroad, you can reach out to the Education Abroad office. And for engineering specifically, you can also reach out to me. I am familiar with many of the programs that work for engineering students at CSU. And I flew through that pretty quickly there. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions in the chat?
Well, and I was just going to say, Claire, so I can attest Swansea University is a fantastic institution. I had the opportunity to study there during my undergraduate degree, and cost was definitely a big concern for me. And I was lucky to be able to apply for scholarships, but also since it was that exchange process, somebody took my space here at CSU whilst I went to Swansea University. And so that really helped to alleviate that cost. And then also accommodation was cheaper, or more affordable, I should say, in Swansea than it was for where I was living in Fort Collins. And so I actually saved some money on accommodation, as well as like my food costs I was able to keep really low. There's a wonderful place called Swansea Market that's, you know, literally you can go and buy your meals for the whole week and spend, you know, like 20 quid, you know, 20 pounds, which is pretty decent, and you can live off of that the whole week. But yeah, it's an amazing opportunity. So definitely, if you have concerns about the financial aspects of it, know that there's a ton of people who can help you through that process to figure out funding, whether that is scholarships or finding programs that are like the exchange.
Santiago's asking, when is the best time to study abroad? And for most engineering students, the best time to study abroad is in your second year. We recommend the spring semester of your second year for most engineering students. It's a bit more flexible in civil and mechanical engineering, but for chemical engineering, it's definitely spring semester of your sophomore year. And Ellie is asking, I think you, Jackie, what did you study in Swansea?
So I am not an engineer. So I actually studied film studies. So I'm a film student, and it was amazing. And it's such a culturally rich place in Swansea. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Dylan Thomas. He's an amazing poet. So it's steeped in so much arts and history in Swansea. There's a castle literally in the center of the town. So there were so many opportunities. Yep. So lots to do.
Adam, I would have to look on the Education Abroad website to see if there are any relationships with universities in Taiwan. In fact, as we're chatting, it looks like Jackie's looking that up for us really quickly. She is fast at this computer stuff, so I'm sure she'll let us know here in a minute. Does anybody else have any questions? Okay. Brad, Dr. Riesfeld, I'm sorry, would you like to talk about the pre-first year program in Copenhagen? And do you want me to run the slides for you, or would you like to do it?
If you could run them, that would be great.
You bet.
All right, welcome everybody. We're so happy to be able to talk to you today about some education abroad experiences. I would like to echo what Claire said earlier about the benefits of education abroad. I ended up working in industry for about 8 years before coming to CSU. And almost every company or large company out there has a global presence. And during my stay in industry, I was able to work with teams in France, Brazil, South Korea, a number of other countries, and having some sort of a cultural awareness and sensitivity can make you a much, much more sensitive and effective engineer. So I highly encourage undertaking a study abroad if you're able to do so. So what I'm going to talk about today is a study abroad experience that Claire and I have been working on for a little while. We have not yet been able to deploy the course. We're very hopeful that we will be able to do so this upcoming fall, depending on the nature of the world as we know it. In any case, let's forge ahead. So this experience is designed for incoming freshmen, and it would actually start before the beginning of fall semester. This course will be a replacement for our introduction to chemical and biological engineering that all of our students take as a way to get some experience in better understanding what the field is all about. And so the way this course is intended to work is that students would arrive on campus, and the first week or first 5 days would be kind of an intensive experience in which we cover a lot of the grounding material in chemical and biological engineering. So there will be a mix of understanding what CSU is all about, understanding what CVE is all about, beginning to work in some teams, understanding, getting prepped for actually making the trip abroad. So our location of choice for this experience is Copenhagen, Denmark. And so following the this 5-day intensive period, we would leave and then spend the next 8 or so days in Copenhagen. After that experience, what would happen is that you would return to campus, and then the course would finish up over the next 8 weeks. So the pace during those 8 weeks would be a little bit slower than it would be for CBE 101. We would have a number of labs and other materials, and try to put your experience in Copenhagen in some perspective. Next slide, please. So why Copenhagen? It's a really cool city, first of all. It's a progressive city in Northern Europe. There's a lot of education or higher education institutions. Along with that, Copenhagen has a lot of high-tech industries that are particularly relevant for chemical and biological engineering. There's a place called the Copenhagen Science City, where about 40,000 students and researchers are involved in, again, fields that are relevant or highly relevant to CBE, including pharmaceutical sciences, medicine, health sciences. Aside from the Science City, Copenhagen has a number of what they call innovation sectors, where they have institutions, both educational and industrial, around biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, information tech, life sciences. And aside from the technical aspects, Copenhagen has a really rich history and culture that they have a much more storied history than the United States for sure. One similarity to Fort Collins is that Copenhagen is a very bicycle-friendly city, and like Colorado has an aim at least to be carbon neutral in the upcoming decades. Also of interest for visitors is the fact that they have among the highest number of restaurants and bars per capita. So definitely a highlight for visitors. So what would you do if you were part of this experience? Well, we have a schedule in which you'll be able to tour a number of different facilities, like I just mentioned earlier. So going through an actual production or research facility involved in biotech or pharmaceuticals, we'll be able to have you shadow engineers who are actually involved in these industries, and also meet some local students who are attending universities in Copenhagen. There will be some classroom activities that will, I think, put in context some of the things that you'd be seeing in these tours. For those of you who are interested in clean energy, we plan to tour facilities there as well. The infrastructure in that area of the world is, I think, much more advanced in terms of energy research and sustainability. Along with those things, we have a slate of cultural activities and dining, local cuisine, that sort of thing. And along with just the research kinds of facilities, we also will have the opportunity to look at manufacturing and what differences might be between technologies used in Northern Europe with those that are in the United States. And I think that's it. We're really excited about this potential and are super hopeful that we'll be able to actually make this trip in the upcoming fall. Do you have any comments about anything related to that, Claire?
I really hope that we can offer this pre-first year program. I think it's a really exciting way to get introduced to chemical and biological engineering right off the bat, to really see the real world applications of what your degree can lead to. And I think that it will definitely give students a big benefit in starting their engineering degree, knowing already what chemical engineering is and how it can be applied after you graduate. I'm really excited for this program.
Well put, me too.
Yeah, yeah. So using the reactions button down at the bottom of the page, could you give us, first of all, a thumbs up if you think you might be interested in studying abroad? Great, great. And then using the reactions at the bottom of the screen, can you give us a big old smiley face if you think that you might be interested in the pre-first year program and going to Copenhagen with Dr. Riesfeld and I? All right, cool, cool. Dr. Riesfeld, do you remember if we had a cost associated with this pre-first year program? Do you remember what that was?
Oh, I don't have that handy at the moment, but I think we could, if students are interested, we can post that somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was around the 6K mark.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, around $6,000. Ellie or Eli, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Yes, this is geared towards mainly chemical engineering students. Other majors for sure could attend, but I think it will be of the most interest to students who are planning on studying chemical engineering. Jackie asked if the classes in the Paris program are taught in French. No, they are not. They are taught in English, but students at the Paris Centre will be expected to take either a conversational French class if they have no prior French experience, or if they have taken some French in high school, then they will continue with their French language studies there. Any other questions?
Because I was thinking there were some of them were taught in English. So that's the good thing to know about looking into programs is, you know, if you have a destination you want to go and you're worried about a language barrier, sometimes your classes will also be taught in English. And so that kind of alleviates some of that stress for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a program in Spain that's also very popular in Valencia, and lots of students took Spanish in high school and may want to continue with their Spanish or being able to practice their Spanish. So going to study at the center in Valencia in Spain is a great way to continue your Spanish, and your math and science engineering classes would all be taught in English. Yes. Yeah, that's
and I was
something
just going to put a quick plug in as well. And so there is a similar program like we were talking about Copenhagen for chemical and biological engineers. In the Department of Mechanical Engineering, they have a program for Berlin. So it's a very similar structure where you're taking classes, you're exploring the city, you stay on campus. And so there will be a session on Wednesday about the Berlin program as well. So if you're interested in mechanical engineering, that might be a program to consider as well.
Thanks, Reed. It does sound awesome, doesn't it? Yeah. Does anybody else have any questions?
Well, and I would just say if you are thinking about studying abroad, definitely as an engineer, it's really great to start this conversation with your advisor sooner rather than later. You can even bring it up at orientation, right, Claire?
Yeah, you can.
The sooner you start planning, the better.
Yeah, I've already been working with our first semester first years, who, you know, this is students that started at CSU 9 weeks ago, and we're already making plans for them to go abroad spring of 2022. So Santiago, what are the destinations abroad study for mechanical engineering? So the ones that we've mentioned, in addition, gosh, lots and lots of places. I know that there's a program in Rome, Madrid in Spain, Australia for sure, possibly New Zealand as well. We don't work with very many programs in Asia. I know that there was a student interested in Taiwan. I don't know if that question got answered. Jackie, did you find that?
There was actually, I searched the Education Abroad website and I didn't see any specific programs linked to Taiwan through CSU. But what you can do is if you know you have a destination in mind, but there's not an affiliated program yet structured at CSU, you can go out and reach out to that institution and then set up, you know, with an Education Abroad coordinator, you can work out the transfer process, the financial pieces, and start that process, even if there's not a formalized program at this time. So that's something good to know. And just to go into Ellie's question about how do you plan to study abroad, definitely talk to your advisor first, find the sweet spot in your schedule when to go abroad. Like Claire said, CBE and a lot of other engineering students is that second year. A lot of times, like, you know, first or second semester, I think it's usually like second semester. Of your second year. So find that sweet spot, go and talk with the Education Abroad coordinators as well as your advisor. You know, I studied abroad, so I got to go 3 times during my undergraduate degree because the process was made very straightforward and easy to navigate. So definitely start the conversations with the appropriate people, also with the Office of Financial Aid, and make sure that you apply for scholarships. So there's kind of like 3 components: is figure out when it fits in your schedule, talk to Education Abroad, apply for scholarships, and figure out all of your financial aid pieces. And then the fun starts, you know, you start applying for your passport and planning your, you know, your bag, what are you going to pack and things like that.
I'm just answering Grant's question. And he asked if there are programs geared towards environmental engineering, and I'm answering yes. Swansea University and also Exeter University in the UK are good options for environmental engineering.
Exeter is also gorgeous. It's a beautiful location.
Yeah, Exeter's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, good question about the biomedical engineering, specifically with pharmaceuticals. I don't know if there's a specific program, because we do have the prosthetics program that we were talking about previously for biomedical engineers, which is a shorter program. Camille, do you have any, I know, so Camille is actually our president for, I'm going to get the acronym wrong, ISPCE.
Yeah, so the International Society of Pharmaceutical Engineering. There isn't anything through ISPE. ISPE is really more of a local kind of chapter, and then we go nationally, but it's not like we travel to do conferences. But I know that they have a lot of like international conferences. That's what they're called. So I know that they have like some conferences in the US, but they also have conferences in the UK. And it's just a bunch of like what is going on in the biotech industry. As of now, they're doing it virtually. But in previous years, they were able to like send a couple students to go and kind of represent Colorado and also represent US. So not only can you like study abroad, you know, through like the study abroad schooling, but you can also do it through certain organizations. So I know Ananya is part of, and I'm going to get this wrong, Engineers Without Borders. Is that still what they're called?
Rams Without Borders.
Rams Without Borders, thank you. Yeah, and so they do some study abroad, or not study abroad, but they go abroad
Trips.
and do some trips abroad. So if you're not necessarily wanting to study for a whole semester, you can go and kind of do, I know they help with like medical equipment in
Clean water supply.
Clean water supply.
Yeah.
In El Salvador.
They really get their hands dirty there. So that's also something that you can do, and look into those student organizations, because sometimes they'll just do, you can go quick trips to do conferences, or you can go to quick trips and help out with those things.
And Claire brings up a really great point about doing an internship. So that's another way to go abroad, is definitely to look at internship opportunities. We've had a lot of students in the College of Engineering undertake internships internationally, and that's a great way to really gain that experience, build up your resume, conduct research. I know Michelle Hefner, who's on our ambassador team, she did in Germany, she did her internship and was able to work in a neurological lab and do some pretty cutting edge research. So tons of things for you to get involved in. If it's not education abroad, there's other opportunities to go overseas.
Yeah, and affiliates like CEA, and I just put this in the chat, affiliates like CEA, who have centers in Paris, in Buenos Aires, in Madrid, in the south of France, Aix-en-Provence, offer internships along with the study. So when you apply, you can apply to do an internship. Now that internship won't be paid, but you can get an internship experience while you are studying abroad, and that is also a great way to get some experience, and also to bolster up your resume. Any other questions, anybody?
And we do, I was going to say, on Saturday, so if you all are coming to the sessions on Saturday, we'll have a couple of students who have gone abroad recently share their experiences as well. So students who've gone on short trips and the long trips abroad, because there are so many different opportunities to make education abroad, really fit with your schedule. So we'll be talking more with those students on Saturday morning.
And is that the session I'm hosting?
It is, yep.
Okay, that's the session I'm hosting on Saturday. Yeah. So more information then too. If you didn't quite get enough today, or you have additional questions, please join us again on Saturday morning. That's at 10 a.m. All right, thanks everybody.
Great. Yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Again, we will be putting all of the recordings from all of our sessions on YouTube. So feel free to reach out though. In the meantime, if you have questions or anything throughout this week, we're here to help. So enjoy the rest of the day, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you for the CBE student panel though later today at 1.
Yeah. Thanks, Dr. Riesfeld.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Excuse me. I was
Yes.
wondering when or like how would we hear about the Copenhagen trip? Like when
Good
would we...
question, Emma. That's a really good question. We need to get that information to admissions to be able to distribute out to prospective new students. And you can also email me or Dr. Riesfeld about that as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Adam, did you have a question? I guess Adam just forgot to leave.
Well, thanks so much, y'all. So much good information. I didn't even know about the Copenhagen program.
Oh, right. I know, because COVID.
Yeah.
Right, because COVID, it's taken over everything, and we've kind of just, I mean, we know that we want to do it, but I don't even know if we can offer it, but we do need to start working with admissions to push that out to prospective students.
It's exciting. It's a cool opportunity. Fingers crossed
really
for fall 2021.
Yeah. Was that okay? Can you stop the recording,
Oh,
please?
sorry.